Hi, welcome to our First Steps podcast. I'm Kristianna, and this is my husband, Jack, and we are newlyweds learning how to magnify God in our modern marriage.
In this podcast, we'll share insights and lessons along the way. If you are a newlywed or desiring marriage, this podcast is for you.
Let's flourish together. This episode is a continuation of our conversation on 7 lessons we've learned in 7 months of marriage. Let's jump back into the conversation, plus stay tuned for the end because we have some bonus lessons as well.
Going along with that, my fourth thing is tough conversations don't stop. They just change.
Oof. Yeah.
1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. For those of you that know your Bible, this is the love verse. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. When you are dating somebody, it is so important to not live in la la land forever. You need to have conversations. You need to know this person. And the same thing still applies in marriage. There's a really powerful quote out there. I've heard it from Dr. John Deloney, who may have been quoting Brene Brown. I forget.
Ooh, I can let you know I like Brene. Well,
Please-
I followed.
Please let me know. But the quote goes something along the lines of this. You will fall in love with someone 6 or 7 times in your lifetime. And if you're really lucky, it's going to be with the same person. So I know for a fact that I'm going to change as a person over the course of our marriage. I know you're going to change over the course of our marriage because right now you're a young professional woman. One day you're going to be a mother and I'm going to be a father. Whole
God
new
willing.
identity right there, God willing. And we're just going to change. And that's normal. And at the same time, there's going to be, with any change, new conflict, new things to talk about, new lessons to learn. And we've already experienced a change with one another. We were both single and then we were engaged. Now we're married. We've experienced, in a sense, 3 different versions of each other already.
Yeah.
And goodness, like, praise God that I'm not the single man you met.
Yeah, you're not meant to be.
Exactly.
That would be a problem.
Right. So, and truthfully, I believe any good marriage will thrive when there is room for tough conversations to happen.
That's good. Yeah. No, that's really good. And I think for you and I, something I'm very grateful for is we communicate. We do
Yes.
communicate. Sometimes I feel like where communication is, we're always, sometimes not always, but we can talk about tough things. We're not afraid to talk about them. And I think some folks that can be a challenge in and of itself.
Absolutely.
And even in newlywed seasons, I've heard folks in dating that they don't talk about the tough things when it's so good to talk about it. So I think like we're on the other end of like,
And we talk
we
too
just go,
much.
yeah. But speaking of tough conversations, we're going to lighten the mood here.
Oh, goodness.
No, I'm
I
excited
wanna
for
be
this next one.
sad.
There is a time for tough conversations that reminds me of like Ecclesiastes.
A time for mourning,
A time for dancing, a time for
play.
singing, and there's a time for everything.
I know Bible. I don't know Bible verses.
Mm,
I'm trying to grow in that.
you are growing in that. It's
Thank you.
great. It's great. Yeah, we both are.
Mhm.
This is a fun one.
Oh,
Can I go on to my next one?
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Co-pilot.
Date night
Date night.
is a must. It's a requirement.
I would agree.
So, I mean, we heard this dating. We heard that keep dating your spouse.
Yes.
Like dating doesn't end once you get married.
Oh, yeah.
However, I get why that is said so much.
Yes.
Like it can be so easy and comfortable to just like attend to life and adult and make sure like, are we grocery shopping? Is the house clean? Are we, whose house are we going to? Whose birthday is it? Like just getting caught up in all of the things that dating can feel like it's on the back burner once you
Absolutely.
get married. And I think it's so funny because I'm like, we're newlyweds, like we're in like the quote unquote honeymoon phase, which honestly is something that I wish would just like get thrown out the window, because like honeymoon phase can go on for the rest of your life, song of
Absolutely.
songs. Like that's what marriage is designed. And I feel like the world also says like the honeymoon phase only lasts for so long, whatever. But um dating is so important, and to protect that time. Love
Absolutely.
protects, right?
Mhm.
That is part of what love is. And we have to protect our marriage by making sure date night is there. Like
Very
it's
much so.
so yeah, something that we've done is on our wedding date anniversary, so on the 14th has been our standing date night date day.
Yep.
um, and we've talked about how much we want to date more than just one time a month, but
Yes.
at least like let's make sure that that's on the calendar, that's there, and that we prioritize it, because we can let everything else get in the way. Um, and so I don't really have a Bible verse that goes with that specifically, except Song of Songs. It's like a whole dating scene, but um, part of that is my my bonus one. I have a
Oh.
bonus with it. Should I
This
save
you're
it?
you're going to put your bonus in it. Well, is it in alignment with the theme of
Is it
this
in
one?
alignment? Kind of. I could save it. I could save it,
Save it. All
because
right.
with dating in general, I wanted to speak to that. It just gets better once you're married. I've
Absolutely.
learned
Oh
that I'm
yeah.
like, this feels so fun. I'm getting dressed up and I'm going on a date. Like this is so cool, but it's my spouse. So
Yeah.
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 What do you think about all that?
And it's gosh, I'm so guilty at falling into the trap of this one because there was a season, ironically enough, the season where we weren't doing so good,
I know.
where we weren't dating. We just weren't. We were married, living life, being highly functioning roommates who sleep in the same bed.
And we were trying to figure out how to be married. Like
Exactly.
how do we live under the same roof as
Hmm.
one?
How do we
And
sleep in a queen
that's
bed? Like,
we found out we don't. We
yeah,
don't
we
sleep in a
don't.
queen
No,
bed.
no, we
We need a
don't sleep in a
king.
queen bed. We need a king. And I mean, to be fair, like when you're newlywed, you're gonna have times where you're gonna just be figuring it out, and you're gonna be in the grindstone. You know, you got to integrate your bank accounts. You got to get your name changed. You have to figure out where to live, remove furniture, and that type of stuff. All sorts of things.
Mhm.
And it's not that they get in the way, but the urgency of those things all of a sudden can override the love that you have for your spouse.
Yeah.
And what we're here to say and just blast from the kingdom come, and we are guilty of this collectively.
Mhm.
Date your spouse.
Mhm.
Show her that you love her with everything that you have in your soul. Because here's the thing, there are so many other voices in her head that tell
Mm.
her how unworthy she can be, that can say how much of a lack she is. And you, as a husband, have to stand in the middle of that gap and go, absolutely not. I love
Mm.
you and I'm never going to stop loving you. And these things are exceptionally important. So,
Mm.
yes, date your spouse. And on a slightly more practical side, something we started doing that has actually been super helpful in all this is when we are planning a date, whether it's Christiana or myself, we will treat it like we're still single. So
Mm.
we
Mhm.
will say something along the lines of, "Hey, Christiana, are you free this weekend for a date?" And like make it a little awkward and formal, but it
Mm.
helps kind of stop. It's like a healthy like cue and distraction away from normal life.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
I'm glad you
really
brought
love
that
that.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even on the date, we make sure this is also probably this is like preface. Date night is a must, and protecting that date is
Yes.
important too. And in protecting, it's also any errands, any to-dos,
Yeah.
any adulting
Don't talk
things
about
are
life.
off the table for
Yes.
conversation. Like
Hmm.
we do not, because then it's no longer a date. It's a
Yeah.
like a family meeting. And
Yes.
that's also very important. But
Yes.
like we make sure that we have to catch ourselves. Like, it's like,
Mhm.
and it's so funny because it sounds as if like these are the things that if someone was married for 20, 30 years, they would be the one saying this, but like it can also happen as a newlywed too.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah.
No shame in
Yeah.
it, but address it. This is someone
Right.
you're going to spend the rest of your life with,
Mm,
right? And you get to choose what that looks like.
right.
So,
Beautiful.
another thing, just one more little thing on that one is put the phone down when you're on a date. Do not be on your phone. Put it on airplane mode, do not disturb, turn it off even. It's the
Yeah.
best way to do this.
That's how I knew you were the one.
Thanks, love.
What you got? What you got? What are
All
we
right.
on? Are we even
I believe we're on 5.
okay?
Yes.
All right.
So I'll jump in. So number 5, and now this is more addressed towards the husbands in the
Mm,
room, or well, I'm the only husband in the room, so this is more addressed to you, sir. Champion her passions, then allow room for her to pursue those passions. It's not a surname, so that's last name. Show. She is not your last name. When you became married to her, it became a joint name that the two of you share. And
mm,
all of a sudden, because Christiana has my last name, she's not therefore subject to my family history or anything like that. We are making our own new thing and we respect our past. And at the same time, we are not subject to it. So, in that, it says in Deuteronomy 24:5 that when
mm,
a man is newly married, he shall not go out with the army or be liable for any other public duty. He shall be free at home 1 year to be happy with his wife, whom he has taken. What does this mean? When you get married, I want you to think of it as a very special time. And it's something we are practicing right now. We started it in December, 5 months after we got married, roughly. No, I'm doing math wrong. Six. Uh, six?
you
Six.
mean started we that verse came to the forefront because we've been doing a devotional with
Yes.
focus on the family.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful resource, by the way. Focus on the
Yes, we should
family.
probably have it in the show notes.
Yeah,
Maybe
we
we can
can. We
put it
can
all together and all of the resources we're talking about. Maybe we can add them.
absolutely. Yes, we certainly
But
can.
that's when I think that's what you're referring to is that time frame when we started that devotional in that verse, and I think that was
I believe that was
six,
part of it.
5, 6 months.
Yeah. So we got married in June. So 6 months later is December.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we decided that in December that would be the start of our year, since the first six
Yeah,
months were just kind of us figuring it out. At the end of the day,
we weren't really honoring that
we weren't honoring that.
call that God said.
So December of 24 to December of 25, this is the year where we're just going to be really focused on us
Mm,
and, you know, husband of all ages or fiance who is trying to be a husband. Make sure that you know what she likes to do and then just clear the calendar so that she can do it. It is so
mm,
important because it's not your show. She's not your servant. This is your partner. This is your
mm,
friend. And gosh, I've been guilty of this to some degree. And I'm not going to just air out all my dirty laundry on here. But we're here to say, as just a young couple, a newlywed couple, even, that, hey, we really don't have it all figured out. And we will go there. We will tell you all the messed up stuff if we need
mm,
to. But that's only to say that we want more for you than
mm,
what you got, because we want more for ourselves too.
yeah,
So
we're saved sinners.
we're saved
Keyword
sinners.
sinners, but
Yeah,
we're saved.
certainly. But yeah, it's not a last name show.
Yeah. And I am so grateful that you said this one because it's something that, especially in the church and I feel like culture speak like, not echoes, has those like loud, I don't know, those like
Loudspeaker,
loud,
megaphone.
megaphones.
Oh,
Yeah.
there
The
we go.
megaphone's saying the opposite, but, uh, wives are called to submit to their husbands.
Yeah.
Husbands are called to love their wives as Christ loves the church. And there's a lot in terms of a husband leading and leading the family. that doesn't mean dictatorship, and it doesn't
Absolutely
mean
not.
that it's the husband's show and then the wife is just there like in the shadows. It's really a if we are called to be an example of the church and Jesus, we are co-heirs, we are co-creating, co-collaborating. And so
Exactly.
it's that opportunity to allow for space for both
Mhm.
to be to create and to be themselves and to become one. And as a wife, it's definitely been and I'm also someone who like I love to help. And so that's also something that I'm trying to work through because we are called to be a helper. God said it is not good for man to be alone, and I've created you a helpmate. So there is that language in there.
That translation of a of really the Genesis story where
Hmm.
the
That's
woman is
life.
the helper, the helpmate, if you will. Forget really who said this, but it the context of the word in the translation, it's not subjugation. It's not like the
Hmm.
woman is a servant. It's like this partner where the common goal that the man and the woman have cannot be achieved unless the woman is there as like
Mm,
support. So it's
yeah.
not like this it's like this person who, and I could totally be butchering this. So
I feel like I know I have something in mind, but I don't want to. Yeah.
I feel like I'm butchering this, but basically like the goal that you both want to achieve cannot be effectively done without the influence of the helper.
Mm,
But the helper is not a servant. It's a very
right.
fine line.
Right.
There's a wonderful book out there called Love and Respect, and
Mm,
it plays very well into this point about
hmm.
how women really desire the love of their husbands and how men desire the respect of their wives, and looks very different.
Taking my last one.
Oh no,
Ah, no, that's good. That's
I'm
good.
sorry,
That's good.
but it's a great resource, and we'll be looking into it more in the future.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's really good. What you're talking about, and I don't know what pastor said it. They talk about the woman was taken from the ribs, from the side
yes,
of the man, and the goal is to not be um, that wasn't taken from the feet or the head.
hmm,
So it wasn't taken from the feet so that they could be trampled on, and it wasn't taken from the head so that they could be ruled over in the
right,
mind, but by the side, because
yes,
we are supposed to be hand in hand, side by side, running the race up before us. And that's the type of person you want to be with, is someone who is not going to trample over you and is not going to beat you over the head with all the head knowledge, but to really be by your side, running toward Jesus together and toward the
absolutely.
promised land. So yeah, that was a really helpful message that I heard a lot in. So um, yeah. Okay, whose turn is it?
Well, it's
Is it
yours. That was
mine?
a really good topic, though.
I know,
I
it's really
believe we're
good.
on number 6.
Yes. Okay, cool. So speaking of giving me that space, and I feel like it goes really well into this next one of this is so hard for me specifically, but I feel like it would speak to anyone who's kind of similar to me, which they have a desire to care for others, to put others' needs above theirs, and value others more to the detriment of yourself. We are called to value others above ourselves, but if it's at the detriment of ourselves, that's when it gets really not so great. So for me, this lesson has been so helpful of taking care of myself is taking care of our marriage. I've had to learn that, I guess, the steps in that phrase of I thought it's take care of the marriage first and then take care of yourself. And like, don't take care of yourself, take care of everybody else, everything else. And that's something that you've really been such an encourager for me in that area. And I'm so grateful because I'm like, how can, we haven't put this in there, but like one of the questions that we were asking ourselves in the beginning of our marriage at the end of each night was, how did I love you well?
Yes.
And it was really helpful because it helped to understand, how am I loving you well?
Right. Yeah.
Because I feel like I could be loving you well, but I'm really not, or not in the way that you need it.
Yeah.
And one way, when I ask you, like, how can I love myself today? You say, take care of yourself. Like, go on your walk, go stretch,
Yep.
go play the piano.
Yes.
Um, and so th- I really wrestled with this because I was like, Lord, how? what does this mean? Like, what are you saying? What do you say in your word about this? Um, and in Ephesians 5:29, it actually is it's a passage around marriage. But in it, it actually speaks of what the husbands are called to do and what the wives are called to do. And in verse 29, it says, "For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church."
Yeah.
And those words I just absolutely love. And we're also taking from the ESV version when we're quoting the Bible. Just
Yes,
want to throw that out there.
for the most part, yeah, I would say 90% of it.
Yeah, and I think that this one is. But the words nourish and cherish were so valuable because it's speaking to the men actually, saying like you don't hate your own flesh, you actually care for it. So do the same thing with your spouse.
Right.
The same goes for women too, of we are called to nourish ourselves and cherish ourselves and do the same for others. So, yeah, I absolutely love that.
Yeah, and it's incredible to see, and I'm so glad this made it into our talking points
Mm,
because as your husband, I'm just like, I think of it kind of like a car, right? If you're trying to get to your destination, you need to put gas in the tank.
yeah.
And in the same way, you are the car. If you're not putting gas in your metaphorical tank, you're not going to get very far. So, one of the things that, and again, this kind of goes back to my earlier point where I'm just like, husbands, you have to give your wife space to try and basically be able to take care of herself. That could mean doing the dishes so that she doesn't have to do it so she can go
Mm,
stretch for 20 minutes. And
yeah.
goodness, I don't even know how this is going to change when we start having children, but like,
Mm,
I'm sure it'll take on an entirely new meaning in an entirely new way. We'll
yeah.
revisit it when cross that bridge when we get to it. So,
Yeah.
yes, you can't give from an empty cup, I guess is what we're trying to say.
Mhm.
And it's so
Mhm.
important to just give that space to one another.
Mhm.
If someone needs alone time, give them the alone time, you know? I'm really bad at that, by the way. I've grown a lot in giving Christiana some alone time.
Mm,
But when you're just
yeah.
surrounded by people all the time, you just get used to it. And you're just like,
Yes.
alone time is when I'm just not talking to someone. So, so
Yeah, that's good. That's good. What's yours? What's your next
my
one?
sixth one
Mhm.
is another one for the husbands is point her, your wife, to God in all things, even in an argument or grievances against each other.
Mm,
He is faithful. And it's Ecclesiastes 4:12. And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken.
tongue twister.
Tongue twister
Yeah,
indeed.
that was one of my verses from the very first one.
There's actually a mural cross from our wedding right behind you
Mm,
over there, where it's a cord of three strands. And we just really believe in this verse. And the reason why I bring it up is when you're married, just like Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, I
mhm.
mentioned this earlier. When you're married, it's like another form of the Trinity where it's your wife, yourself, and then, or well, you, your spouse, and then God. And
Yeah.
this is so important because I cannot tell you the amount of times where we have had an argument or some other point of friction in our marriage, and we'll give each other space and allow for some re regulation. Pro tip: if you are having friction in your marriage, give
Mm,
each other some space so you can re regulate, process your
that's
emotions,
another
come back
one.
together.
Yes.
That one is, again, shout out to Dr. David. He was our counselor through
Mhm.
premarital and into marriage as well. And when you give each other that space and that I literally just lost my train of thought.
That's
I'm so
okay. I'm
sorry.
sorry I threw you off.
No, that's okay. Goodness.
You're talking about 3 and, pointing your spouse.
Thank you. It's back now. The train has returned to the building. I can't tell you the amount of times where we've had a point of contention, really,
Mm,
and we've given each other space, and I've gone and I prayed about it, and all of a sudden things were good. Like I come back and you talk about it and you're like, here's what God told me in this
mm,
situation. And we were able to apologize and reconcile with one another.
mm,
And something that could have taken, that takes an argument and maybe a day or two of friction just goes away in like a couple minutes because of that space and like God literally interceding for one another
Literally,
to
yeah, it's
like
powerful.
have me have a little more empathy towards Christiana and have Christiana give me a little more grace.
Yeah.
Because goodness, 9 times out of 10, it's because of something I did. So
Well, you speak of something that going back to the first one I shared of it's a relationship of three.
yes,
There's
absolutely.
where it's so powerful to have the Lord on our side. He's on both of our sides. It's not like one
Hmm.
side or the other. And gosh, it just reminds me of the power of forgiveness. And that's something that I'm learning so much more being married with you, and that ability to reconcile, and how that's part of the healing. It's part, I mean, like it connects to
So
all of
much.
these points that we've been talking about, all these lessons. And so learning to forgive quickly is probably a lesson that it's like I've known this, but it's more powerful in marriage, I guess. So yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one, hun.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um,
Dun, dun, dun,
is this
dun.
our last one?
It is.
Yes. Okay, so this is the one that I think we already started to allude to, but that's okay because it's very important and it'll connect to the one that I had my bonus one. So the we said it earlier, but the love and respect cycle is real and it is powerful.
Yes.
There is a book called Love and Respect. Did I even put that in as a reference on my notes? I don't think I did.
We will add the
It's
author
a great book. Is it
to,
Gary Chapman? I'm not sure. Okay.
not sure, but we will add all the relevant
Yeah.
information to the show notes so that you can explore it for yourself.
Right.
Highly recommend it.
Right. And I'm going to reference the word of God, because he literally says it in his word, which is amazing. In Ephesians 5:33, he says, however, let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. And the book is based off of that verse, which is great.
Absolutely.
But it really is, for as a woman, I think that the greatest way that we can love our husbands is respecting them. And I never really realized what that looked like until I started respecting you and showing you my respect towards you. And you wouldn't think of like, I don't know, you love your husband by giving him by hugging him, by telling him how handsome he looks,
Feeding his love language.
feeding his love language of quality time, or all of them. And that is important. Yet there is a level of respect that you can be loving your husband through and through, but if you're not respecting them, that love can kind of be empty, if so to speak. So for me, what I've learned is that respecting your husband looks like affirming and acknowledging you even when I may disagree with you.
Good. Really
Yeah.
good definition.
Learning, keyword, I'm learning this.
Well, no, because I was going to ask you to define respect from
Oh,
a woman's perspective.
yeah, yeah.
So really glad you did.
Mm,
I would. Can I add more color to that as
absolutely.
well? So, okay, cool. So, uh, and this is again just a different side of the coin, right?
Mm,
Respect for me is giving me the chance in anything. So, giving me the chance
mm,
to load the dishwasher may not be correct, but just giving me the chance. And then if it's not correct, like explaining it to me calm and gracious way and keeping it very lighthearted. Like it's this way of letting me know that you see me and you
mm,
acknowledge what I'm doing and you're grateful for it. But let's just change it a little bit so it kind of fits a little
mm,
better.
mhm.
And again, and then there's also times where like, sometimes it's just good job, honey. And just move on, even though you may totally disagree with it.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I think that's a really wonderful point.
Mm.
So, do you want to tie in your bonus?
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, cool. So, and it goes with that because um it is connected to that we all need words of affirmation and affection. I think that a lot of
Mhm.
times it's the messages out there are like for men to like women are words of affirmation ladies. And this is also in reference to Gary Chapman's 5 love languages. It's very valuable, yet at the same time, we all need it no matter
Mhm.
what, even if that when you ranked lower on with words of affirmation. Because like you mentioned, we have the voices of the world, we have the flesh, we have the enemy. We have like 3 areas that are coming
Yeah.
at us to steal, kill, and destroy.
Just going, "You suck." Like
It's just, yeah, it's crazy. So we have an amazing opportunity. I'm like waiting for the cardinal to come back. We have this amazing opportunity to speak life into one another.
Mhm.
And in Ephesians 4:29, it says, "Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear it." And I just love the word building up. Um, because in part of respecting and part of loving, it is that building up, encouraging one another, and you need it as much as I do. Like it's
Absolutely. Yep.
just
No.
we need to share that,
I
and
need
so
you to
yeah,
tell me I'm pretty.
I do tell you you're pretty. I do, I do. But yeah, I can definitely do it more. So yeah, that was my bonus one tied to that.
I love that. Thanks, love.
You gonna wrap it up for us?
You know what? 7 is the number of completion, and so I will do the same. So, and this one again, no particular order on any of these, right?
Except my number one.
Except Christiana's number one. We'll put all of these in the show notes just as a quick fast facts for you all.
Mm,
And my 7th one is simple. Date her, your spouse, like you don't know her.
mm,
Keep it lively, keep it fun. I love learning new things about you, and pretend like you don't know her.
mm,
Pretend like you don't know your spouse, because pursuit is such a wonderful thing.
mm. Yeah.
And gosh, you can pursue all sorts of things. You should pursue God. God
Mm.
is your number one.
First love. Yep.
God is your first love. You should pursue God. And then your number 2 should be your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll sum it up with this. Proverbs 18:22. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So you got to tend your garden. Make sure you water it, nurture it, protect it, keep the weeds and foxes out of it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and date your spouse like you don't know them. And these
Yeah.
are just a couple things that we're learning. We don't have it all figured out. We're not saying we're perfect. We're not saying, like, oh, yeah, look at us. Look at our amazing life. I assure you, it's not. We're just 2 people figuring it out. And just want to invite you into our story and our moment of time. And we want you to grow with us.
Yeah.
This this is for all of us. This is something we wish we had when we
Mm-hmm.
first started this marriage thing.
Mm-hmm.
And goodness be, it's been a wonderful thing to
Yeah.
grow with you, and I love you very much.
Mm.
So, enough sappy stuff though. What about my bonus?
What about
This
your bonus? Oh, your
yeah,
bonus one?
my bonus one.
Yeah.
This one will single-handedly reduce any conflict.
Forgot. Did you share this one with me yet?
I think I did.
Okay.
Yeah. This will
Yeah.
single-handedly, and you know what it is, reduce a ton of conflict in your marriage. And it's very practical. Bonus point. Do not, and I repeat, do not have hard conversations after 8 p.m. Just don't. If it's about bills, if it's about like frustrations towards one another. Now the Bible says don't go to bed angry. You can deal with your emotions before 8 p.m. Like, do not have hard conversations late at night,
Yeah.
or set a timeline, because nothing good happens late at night when
Mm.
it comes to these types of things. So don't
When
have
you're tired.
yeah,
Nothing
when
good
you're
happens when
tired.
you're tired.
No, don't have hard conversations after 8 p.m. And I'll take it a step
Folder? Folder?
further,
Folders in
further.
your cup?
Yeah,
Folders?
Folgers in your cup. I'll take it a step further. Don't have hard conversations before 8 a.m. either. So
And that time can be different for anybody, whatever
it,
that looks like. But the having a boundary around
yes,
types of conversations and the timing of
absolutely.
it, because there is a time and place
There
for
is a
sure.
time and
And
place.
sometimes my flesh wants me to have it now, and I have to remind myself that now is not the good time.
Yep. 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 So
Yeah,
there we go.
that's a good one.
Thank you. We
Mm,
came up with it together.
we did. We did. We worked through it. It's a lesson we both
It's a
learned.
lesson we've learned.
That's our joint one. But yeah, no, it's so many good points. And we hope that it's maybe there's something that is new for folks, or maybe it's just a reminder. But having another lens and knowing that these are things that newlyweds also wrestle with. I feel like a
Yes.
lot of the stuff I hear about from marriages that have
Been around.
been around, but it's also applicable to folks who are newlyweds. And so, look, the sun just came
I know the
out.
sun just came out.
Ah, our
So
outdoorsy natures can
I know.
go outside,
It's
enjoy the
great.
sunshine.
And my ADD is too. but
Oh,
but we just want to thank you so much for being with us today and
yeah.
joining us on our first official podcast. And we just pray that, you find something useful here. And if you did find something useful, let us know. There's comment section. We're going to get a social media and probably an email address set up soon enough. But we'd love to hear what's going on in your life. And if there's any of these particular topics that you are
Mm,
interested in or would
yeah.
like to be expounded upon further,
Hmm.
let us know. We currently have, I think, 24 or 25 items on our
I have
episode
no
list.
idea.
I don't remember, but I'm certainly at least 20. I know that.
Yeah.
And we just want to keep doing this thing because we strongly believe that it's not that we have it figured out, but we just want to take a step forward and just try to sift through the fog together
And learn together.
and learn together.
Yeah.
Right.
So we can all flourish together.
May the
Mm.
Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you. And with that being said, have a wonderful day.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We're so grateful you spent time with us.
We pray that this episode blesses you and that you can apply it to your own life and your marriage. See you again soon.